Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready!
Are you ready?
I'm ready!
You ready?
Woo! Okay, anyways, enough of that.
Yeah, well, I'm not ready.
Why aren't you ready?
Because I am Groot.
Oh, God. Hi, everybody!
Hey.
Episode 4, Geekodity, and we are on site.
She's Alex.
I'm Vito! Anyways. God, jeez.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, anywho.
Alright, so today we're doing a very special podcast with our friends. Alex, introduce them.
Well, this is Diego and David.
What's up?
Who are also big fans of the franchise, just not this movie, unfortunately.
Which franchise?
We are talking about TMNT.
There you go.
Yep.
I thought we were talking about McDonald's.
What would give that impression?
It's a franchise.
Is it a franchise?
He's not wrong.
If you want to go basic, like go basic.
Is it a franchise, really, Diego? McDonald's?
What is
Well,
it?
the Krispy Kremes is. I'm actually not sure about McDonald's. I'm actually
So, today we will be talking about the new TMNT movie, based off, of course, everyone hates him. Bay!
Not based off Bay, it's just produced by Bay.
Okay,
He's got
based
his
off Bay!
He's got his dirty little fingers all over it.
It still has Bay in the name.
His name is slapped all over the advertising. For
Exactly.
And no one even knows what the director's real name is. They just know it's Bay's Ninja Turtles.
We probably should have paid attention to the
It's
credits.
Johan something.
I was gonna say,
Johan something.
All I know is that he worked on Wrath of the Titans and a few other movies.
Independence Day.
Independence.
It's Jonathan Liebesman?
Liebesman? Something like that?
Liebesman?
Lobster.
Yeah, the name sounds familiar.
Alright.
Liebesman. So, without any more stalling, we'll just get to the point on
Okay,
what's used in this movie.
Alright, and
Overall review, start to begin with. What did you think of it overall?
I thought it was a decent action flick, but as far as like maintaining like what the turtles really are, it didn't really follow through with that.
I kind of agree with on that. The action scenes were great, but the rest of the movie entirely just felt very mediocre. Not something I'd want to go and buy on DVD or Blu-ray.
No, I don't even think I'd watch it a second time.
Me neither.
I'm going to be watching it for the 4th time tonight.
fourth time, what's the matter with you?
Because you're a nut.
I got 2 free tickets. So I'm good.
2 free tickets.
Who bought the tickets?
I did.
Then they're not free.
Because it came with a DVD. So I pretty much got like 2 for 1.
What
What
DVD?
DVD?
Wait, what DVD?
TMNT Forever, Turtles Forever, and the...
Is that the TV series?
That's the
That's
that's the
the
crossover
With
with
the animatronic puppets? Not hand puppets, but I mean like they had the...
That's the crossover
Shoot
from
from
the
that's the crossover of the
1970s, 1980s.
No, it's from
Oh.
it's the crossover with the 2003 and the 1980s.
Oh, and the comic book turtles, right?
Yeah.
and the Mirage ones.
Oh,
Okay,
that
I know what you're talking about.
Wait, they
Is that-
actually they
Is that a
did.
movie or an episode?
It was a special.
movie.
Yeah,
It
it was
was
a TV
special.
movie.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
So I bought
look
that.
online, you'll find it easy.
Yeah.
I bought that movie and plus another TMNT movie, the Nickelodeon TMNT. It was a Casey special or something like that. So
Release the whole first season. I don't want
Casey.
none of these volumes.
oh,
Casey
and
Little
also the the animated TMNT movie that came out in theaters. So I
so
bought
far
those
the
DVDs.
second best Turtles movie ever.
Oh, hey, look! Unfortunately, since we're doing a review, hey, we got turtles on screen.
They wouldn't
So
know that,
anyways,
Yeah.
yeah.
Number 1 movie in the world, according to the commercial.
Yeah.
They say that about
Excuse
all
me.
movies.
Trailer reaction.
They don't bother to put in there number 1 movie of the year. Number 1 movie in theaters or of the year.
So okay.
Number 1 action
This year.
movie.
Or
For this weekend.
So
Yeah, exactly.
overall,
They never
No.
specify.
everyone's okay. So if anyone could pick out one thing from this movie that they just overall hated, we can't really say on Bay stuff.
Oh, that's gonna be hard.
Mikey's face.
I'll go last.
David is thinking too hard on this. Diego, if you could pick one thing that you just overall just hated.
Oh, just Megan Fox. Like, they didn't even try to make her look like April. Like, they just gave her a yellow jacket and then called her April, and that's about it.
Yeah, and her hair doesn't even look red.
Yeah.
It's like if
Like,
you're gonna,
nothing about her says April. It's just Megan Fox inserted in the movie.
I actually thought of this metaphor earlier, which is a good way of describing that. The way they showhorn Megan Fox as April O'Neil is honestly sad compared to actual fans who shell out typical minimum wage money to put together cosplay costumes for Comic-Con and Anime Vegas and so on, and those costumes are so much better, and yet Hollywood studios are full of tons of money, and all they could manage to get was a yellow jacket because Megan Fox didn't want to put on a red wig, or I get that she couldn't dye her hair because I heard that it was starting to fall out because of it, so the dye was affecting it. I get that. But there is such thing as wigs, there is such thing as makeup.
Yeah, plenty of actresses wear wigs.
Yeah.
Even if they have long hair. There's actresses who wear wigs when they have long hair also, so that's not an excuse for Megan Fox not if we can try to wear a wig.
Yeah, there's a reason makeup artists are such talent, are of such a high talent out there.
Like,
because they can really put together something that didn't seem like it'd be possible.
Or they could have, not used Megan Fox and actually used an actress who knows how to act.
but okay,
if
you could pick another actress to actually fill in the shoes of April O'Neil, who would you guys pick?
What was Megan Fox?
I would personally choose Emma Stone.
Actually, that's pretty close to what I was gonna pick. I was gonna. What was that?
I know she's already an Amazing Spider-Man, but I don't see why she can't also do.
My other choice was gonna be Shailene Woodley, who was gonna play MJ in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, but then they cut her out. She looked pretty good as a redhead, so I think, and she acts pretty decently, at least better than Megan Fox. So
yeah.
I think she might have worked.
Yeah, because Megan Fox is exactly the same in every movie that she's in.
Exactly.
Like, she's just
facial expressions.
Yeah.
Putting on a yellow jacket does not make you April O'Neil.
She just does at least 30% more than what Kristen Stewart does in her facial expressions. So I mean, at least she kind of tries and put it out there. Like you kind of could see it in her face, but with Kristen Stewart, it's the same freaking reaction in almost every single movie that she's in. It's like. She has this kind of like stink face that's kind of constipated, and she like tries so hard. It's yeah, and it's like even when she sounds like she's like trying to moan, it's like like are you trying to go to the bathroom or what are you trying to do?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Add some emotion, do something to your character.
And it's kind of a shame that Megan Fox sucks so much because in the first 2 minutes or first 5 minutes of the movie she was acting. She was acting.
That's just a statement.
She was acting sort of like a real reporter, just trying to find out a story in any way.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, after that, bam, she sucks.
It lost that character. I think she kind of went off of that character, that it just became April O'Neil in the first few minutes of the movie, and then the rest of the movie, it's like, where's this other character coming from?
She's insane. She tried to convince her boss that there were mutant turtles in the city by showing her a picture of real turtles, not mutant ones.
And don't show the actual footage she got on her camera of the turtles in plain sight.
And common sense is that.
Oh no! Don't show Whoopi Goldberg. Show your cameraman Vern, and he'll trust you. But don't show Whoopi Goldberg, the person you're trying to get money from.
That's another thing I have a problem with. I don't really understand why spend the money to get Whoopi Goldberg in the movie if she's literally there for maybe 5 minutes at the most.
I think she's movie bait just for those people that love Whoopi Goldberg.
But I don't remember seeing her even in the advertising for the movie.
I did.
She was there. She was in 1 or 2 TV spots, and then that was it.
He means in the trailer, they didn't put her face up.
Oh yeah, so it's like if you're gonna put Whoopi Goldberg in the movie, and if you're using her as star bait, why not put her in the advertising?
Well, she was just there for one joke, the whole I mean, are they aliens or
Yeah, but they could have at least put that joke in the trailers.
Well, it kind of bugged me.
I guess they more or less.
It's like there's no reason to put her in there at that point.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of bugged me about that whole scene when Megan Fox is trying to show her boss the image of the turtles is that common sense. She's trying to take a picture of it when, of course, cell phones these days have a video feature where why couldn't she just go ahead and just record the whole scenario while it was happening? You see, I could kind of understand that a little bit more.
Hey, well, she's got the pretty crappiest phone in New York City. I mean, it can't even take pictures when it's too dark.
Well, basically, as far as I can tell, any phone that isn't an iPhone is a shitty camera.
Yeah, but at least they can still try and take a picture. This one, nope, too dark.
You would also think that if she claims to be a reporter, she would actually invest in an actual camera that she would carry with her, that she would keep around her neck, on a lanyard or something.
Or so why a GoPro or something like that.
You got a good point because Peter Parker, even though the films are modernized and made as if they were to happen now, he still has a professional photographer's camera.
Yeah.
Yet April O'Neil doesn't, just in case of backup.
Yeah.
And I never really thought
even if, also, since she's a reporter, you think she'd invest in... She'd want the phone that actually has the best camera available.
Yeah.
And not whatever phone that she had in the movie. movie.
I guess the movie budget was too short.
And and also another thing that bugged me was that she was trying to be taken seriously as a reporter at the beginning, but she didn't take the time to think, this sounds like a pretty crazy story. Don't you think I should? I mean, I should probably, think like once or twice about telling my boss about this.
Well, granted, like nonsensical dialogue in movies isn't uncommon. There's a lot of times where characters say something and they probably should have worded something right. That I was okay with because they do that in all kinds of movies just to keep the plot going and just to keep conflict going. If she would have really convinced her that she really did see turtles and so on and so forth, the movie story would be completely different.
Yeah, probably.
To go along with the script, they make them sound stupid
It's just the way that she went on about it. I mean, I pretty much said when we saw the movie that the way that she was trying to present it to her boss looked exactly like the same way that Shia LaBeouf in Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen was trying to was freaking out and writing like all the equations on the board in his classroom. I mean, schizophrenia.
The only thing I keep hearing in my head is the Megan Fox screams in all the same movie. Especially with Transformers.
You're only born with one voice. What are you trying to say?
She could have kind of changed it a little different.
I mean, there are some things to really nitpick about movies, but some other things, like what she said to her boss, there's tons of movies that have moments where why did the actor say it like that? He could have phrased that differently. Yeah. All movies do it. It's just part of the plot. That's what makes it.
I think she means she has the same emotional range, and every time she does the same scream, there's no difference at all.
Just like Nicolas Cage and Kristen Stewart.
I was gonna say her name, Kristen Stewart, the piece of wood.
Because when she screamed
nice job playing Snow White. I was totally convinced you're this girl that's supposed to get animals to obey her every command because of her beauty and her voice. Like she had neither the beauty nor the voice.
What beauty?
She didn't say anything. She didn't sing anything. She didn't look anything. She just looked
Charlize Theron was hotter.
Honestly, the only reason I went to see the movie was because of Charlize Theron.
Yeah,
that was the only reason.
I just went to go
see The Witch.
Yeah,
I just went to go see that movie just for the special effects.
Okay.
Get a clue, Disney. Princesses are out of style. It's all witches these days.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can't believe I'm saying that
it was okay.
I can't believe I'm saying.
It's the start of something.
It is. And then
princesses are starting to really just die out.
Witches were a thing in the 90s already, though. I mean, we had Halloween Town, Hocus Pocus, the movie that's actually called The Witches.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to say something that I can't believe is coming out of my mouth, but I think we've ripped on Megan Fox enough.
Yeah.
So. Megan, I still like you.
That's why I said back to Turtles.
You're better than
still
Jennifer
like
Aniston,
you.
at least.
I still heart.
I think back on the dislike topic, I think my most disliked topic, even though Diego kind of was okay with it, the New Origin.
New Origin.
I don't like it.
And this is where the clash between me and him kind of comes.
All right, all three of us against you. Alex, present your case.
I don't like the New Origin because it just majorly conflicts with all of the originals. The original cartoons, the original movies, no matter how they changed it up, it was still essentially close to the same detail. Master Splinter was a martial artist from Japan. Him and Shredder were rivals in Japan, fought over the same wife, so on and so forth, and that's why Shredder and Splinter are at each other's throats all the time. Splinter's trying to live like peace. Shredder loves the woman he loves, and he's kind of a prick about it, so he murders her, and he's constantly out to kill Splinter. And then also kill the turtles when he discovers that, oh hey, these turtles that are stopping crime in New York, they have a familiar fighting style. They fight like Master Splinter. He must be alive and still in New York. That's why I'll go there. In this movie, because they're April O'Neil's pets in her father's lab, I feel like the Shredder's purpose for coming to New York, the Shredder's purpose for being a villain is just out of... He's been demoted to a B-list villain who's simply evil just for the sake of being evil. Like, what's his motive? And then the scar across his face, he got that scar from the fight against... I can't think of the guy's name. Hiroshima? Whatever Master Splinter's Japanese name is. I always forget it. But he got that scar, during the fight with him in Japan. So essentially, where's he got the scar now?
Hamato Yoshi, that was it.
Thank you. Hamato Yoshi is Splinter's name. So, okay, why has he got the scar, and just, why is he evil?
Yeah,
that's usually what makes villains good villains, when they have a purpose for being mean. You tell me it all the time when you have, good villains. Yeah. They gotta have a purpose. They can't just be evil for being evil. And look at Broly.
There was no purpose.
maniacal monster. Yeah, it's cool to watch him fight, but what's his motive?
Goku.
Exactly.
I was
brainwashed.
brainwashed.
Somehow remembers that.
Yep. Just like, even a simple motive like that makes for at least a somewhat decent villain, I guess.
Not really. No.
Yeah, never mind.
I was brainwashed to kill Goku.
I was trying to give Broly some credit at least, but I don't know, maybe not. He's
non-canon.
Okay, well,
yeah. But yeah, that's why I don't like the origin, because it just makes it feel like Shredder is worthless. The Turtles are their own thing. Splinter's got his own thing, and it's like, why? The only reason they're fighting is because Splinter and the Turtles have something that Shredder doesn't, and he needs it to poison the city.
Yeah, and also,
which also brings up another messed up point. How is he gonna poison the city and not kill himself and everyone else in the building?
well, they got the mutagen by then. I mean,
Yeah, and they were gonna spread it as a gas from that tower.
yeah, they
tower.
pretty much went Amazing Spider-Man on this with what was it? Because
Like
that was
the lizard gas.
Yeah, the lizard going to the top of Oscorp Tower, and he was going to release the lizard serum, or whatever, and turn everyone into lizards. Like, that's pretty much like.
But that's turning everyone into lizards.
Yeah, but
if I recall the Turtles right, he was intending to kill everyone.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's pretty. Hey, it's same stuff, different situation. Like, you got a tower, you got something that's going to shoot something into the air and like change everyone like around in the city like for worse.
Yeah, it is the same like I said, but the gas was supposed to kill everyone.
Yeah.
So what's the contingency plan to keep the Shredder and his Foot Clan soldiers, not ninjas, Foot Clan from dying?
They probably injected themselves
There was
already.
no explanation of that.
They probably were wandering around in the sewers where there wouldn't be any of that stuff.
I think they were trying to wait for like the whole typical common sense. Okay, bad guy does this, but obviously bad guy already has a cure in him, so of course it's not going to really affect
that stuff
him.
is like implied. You have to guess that.
But,
it's not told at all.
But hey, like.
But yeah, that's my gripe. That's my major dislike point. It just the whole plot is just pointless now.
Okay, Alex, you want to chime in
God,
on
jeez, where do I start on history?
Do not read that whole thing. She's got 4 pages of Ninja Turtles histories throughout the years.
Yeah, actually, I got like 6 pages. I kind of did like.
You will not read that all, okay? Get to the points on it. Okay?
Obviously, there was different origins.
Hero power.
There was different beginnings. There was different backgrounds. There was different everything going with TMNT. That's obviously from what I read up to.
Okay, basically, she's saying that this origin that we have is not.
So to me, it felt more like a what if kind of origin, not really like having my main focus on kind of going back to the old TMNT movies. Obviously, because I mean, to me personally, if we kind of went through that whole history again, I would seriously just kind of like fall asleep through it. And it's like, okay, I heard this again in the first movie, I'm gonna hear it again in the second movie. Obviously, when the third movie came out, we didn't really have to hear about the origins because they pretty much went back in time in feudal Japan to go ahead. Ooh, hello. So yeah, that's pretty much what I was trying to say. Sorry, I saw bandanas.
I forgot I had these.
Where did you get that?
From the Turtle box set. Didn't you get that from me?
What? This
That is so cool.
Yeah. I think it was like the last one there also.
Oh, and some things that bothered me about their origin was also the way that they came up with the names was because the Project
Renaissance, obviously.
Well, like what sort of motivates someone to name that after, like, for the antidote to a virus? I mean, Project Renaissance.
It heals Splinter.
Yeah, that's so weird. How does an antidote heal someone? It's supposed to cure a disease, not like just be like sort of a what was it?
We should have worn these at the start of the video.
We should have.
I got it.
You just now pull it out.
I forgot to.
Oh.
Okay, well then who would be who?
Oh,
Well, you took
Stay on
Leo's.
topic. Stay on topic.
Okay.
I'm just
You're Mikey.
Yeah, I know.
yeah, she's Mikey. She's got the energy.
Like,
Yeah.
on the topic of the origin, though, like, I agree as far as, like, the Shredder plot point. Like, I thought the Shredder origin was weak. Because, like, there was really no reason for Shredder to really be involved in the movie other than him having the Foot Clan and kind of being more of, like, an evil businessman along with the other guy.
Yeah. Well, actually, that I think was it Shredder was actually an afterthought on this. Like, they were originally going to go with Eric Sachs or William Fichtner's character for Shredder, and then when everyone like hated that idea, they just decided to try and do some reshoots and put the Shredder in there, but that made it worse.
After they kind of like shoehorned him in there, and then the story kind of fell apart even more. But like as far as the turtle origin, I'm actually more okay with that one because that's more creative license. Like, you kind of got to modernize it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then also, I mean, for a movie, it kind of makes more of an emotional connection with. I was gonna say Megan Fox, but with April,
it was trying.
No, you can go with Megan Fox. She was barely April.
Okay,
whichever.
But anyway, with Megan Fox's character in the Turtles, it kind of creates more of an emotional connection with them, kind of by the fact that they were her pets.
Mm-hmm.
But then that also makes it incredibly weird that Mikey's attracted to her.
That's true.
Because then shouldn't that make her more of like a mother figure to them?
Mother or sister, at least.
Yeah, so that part
so
was
Mikey
really
was hitting on her
weird
sister.
to me.
If I recall the old cartoons and the movies right, April actually was more like a sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Venus.
Where, I mean, Donatello, has a crush on her.
Don't knock
in the
on
cartoon,
Venus, okay?
But it's more like a little cute kind of like nerd crush. He doesn't he isn't like obsessed or perverted, or he just like really, really likes her and like would love to hang out with her more often. Where Mikey, he was like he almost had like...
He had a turtle boner for her.
He literally had a turtle boner.
What was the line again that he said?
Our shell's hardening up.
The first thing he says in the entire film, I mean, you hear him speaking earlier in the little tidbits, but the first audible piece of dialogue he says in the movie is that, "Oh, she's so hot, I feel my shell tightening."
Yeah.
And I'm like, yep, there's that Michael Bay humor right there.
Like, I'm okay with the concept of the origin, but like the way that it actually played into the story didn't work. Like, it had like a good concept, but they didn't really follow through with it. Like, they didn't do what they could have done with it.
Yeah. I guess my main gripe with the origin is that, like, I don't know. I wouldn't be so so critical on this one if I probably didn't know if I didn't like the 2012 one better, because that stayed true to the entire story of how it is, and then it added a little more something to it, with the Krang sort of being involved in their mutation. So yeah, they found a way to make that work.
But back to what you guys were saying, I think, and especially what Diego was saying, they had something good going on in the beginning, but they just kind of got blinded and they totally went off course. Because I kind of saw where everything was going to go, but it just didn't really work out exactly how it was supposed to work out.
They're slowly bouncing on the precipice, and as the movie goes on, chips are falling off, and next thing you know, there were some good ideas in the movie, they just weren't executed properly.
Yeah.
Like, I liked Mecha Shredder.
Yeah.
In the end, I was okay with that. When I first saw the suit, I instantly thought, that's Skullmageddon from Double Dragon Neon. Totally Skullmageddon. He's got the little hat, the skull face.
It just reminded me of not the most recent Ninja Turtles cartoon, but the one that was it 4Kids? I don't remember.
The 03 one?
Yeah, that one. I actually think it reminded me a lot of that Shredder, where he was in this huge suit of armor and it almost looked robotic.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that came to mind.
I actually think that one was robotic because
No, there was two. There was one that was original, the main Shredder, and then later on down, I think it was third season, it was robotic.
Yeah, but there was the present day Shredder, that one was robotic because he was a Krang, or Utron for that
one. He was a Utron.
Yeah.
Despite thinking it was Skullmageddon at first, as the movie progressed, I was actually okay with the robot suit. It looked really cool. It was executed greatly.
Yeah. Well,
the fight scenes could have been a little less shaky cam, like you say. But,
especially,
But regardless, though, the suit, it was acceptable.
It looked a little too big to me.
It did at first,
but
the way they made him move in it was cool. Yeah. I mean, the turtles are even bigger than him and wider and heavy. They obviously look heavier, but they made them move around pretty well. So at this point, physics be damned, it seems.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, when I first saw Shredder's outfit, I just jumped on the conclusion of, we have a smaller version of Megatron. Obviously, that's the first thing that I had thought of. Is just
the Megan Fox,
Megatron
into your brain.
But my personal, I think favorite scene in the movie dealing with the Shredder was just his fight, a little bit of his fight with Splinter in the beginning when they were just about to fight, and Splinter's not even freaking focusing on Shredder, and he's just bombing ass on there, while Shredder's just trying to pull up all the shit that he could do. But I think that's like my overall just one favorite scene in that damn movie. Oh, major question. Since we went on this one already with the whole Bayism, what is the deal with fighting on towers? Personally, I just want to find out from you guys. What is the whole deal on fighting on the top of the highest tower in the freaking city?
Dramatic effect.
He likes using the zoomed out camera angles to show. He tries to show scope of the battles.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like something that he really likes to do.
That makes sense. I was thinking more or less like, as the fight continues, he has something to blow up on the way down. Which it just, yeah, it's a run-on joke with him, but it makes sense. That's something he would do. He needs space to blow things up because that's his expertise.
Yeah.
He's good with destruction and causing that's art for him.
Yeah.
So I get that. So that's
it's actually.
But then again, I thought too, on top of the tower, the reason they did that too is because. Well, a lot of Turtles games focus on fighting Shredder on top of a tower, and then when you beat him in the games, or they beat him in the show, he falls off the building. It's become like a trademark Shredder defeat.
Yeah, they usually do fight Shredder on top of a tower. Mm-hmm. That usually is how they defeat him.
And the only exception being the original comic, where Leo just literally slaughtered him in the first fight.
Which was good.
Like, there was oh no, the Shredder's too powerful. It was just, nope, you attacked our sensei. You're after our sensei. We're gonna kill you. And they did it. They did not hesitate. So. But other than that, yeah, every single fight with Shredder has been on top of a tower. And if he wins, the Turtles run away. If he loses, he falls off the building.
Yeah.
It's become a trademark. Happened at Turtles 1. It happened in the video games. I think it might have happened in the 2002 cartoon. I wouldn't put it past them if they did.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's become like a
I
trademark.
think they did, actually.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know they also did it in 2012 one, like first time Shredder faced off against the Turtles. Like they were on top of like a huge building. Like
the Nickelodeon cartoon?
Yeah, Nickelodeon.
He hasn't been defeated yet though, so he hasn't technically fallen off the building. I've been watching that.
No, I think that's just the Turtles thing in general to fight on top of a building, because even in the CGI film, Raph and Leonardo fight on top of a building in the rain.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they always fight on the rooftops because they're mainly having to stay out of human sight.
Yeah.
But the whole point was like, why is the final fight in Bay's movies usually happen on top of the towers? It's acceptable in a Turtles movie because they always do that, so it was accepted. But yeah, he does have a trend for that. If Shredder loses, he has to fall off the building. It's like it's in his contract.
Yeah. You were supposed to do that. Go back on the building. You don't die here in the street.
Okay, so speaking of falling off the building, does anyone here actually think Shredder is dead?
Well, you see his arm move at the end of the movie.
Yeah, like you see
he had a bit of ooze on his finger. He might have, if he had like a cut or anything. If that's what they were trying, what they might have been trying to imply is that he used the ooze on himself, so he's gonna be mutated in the next one, which that has happened before. Shredder has mutated. I mean, like not just in the games or the cartoons, but if everyone remembers this one, in Turtles 2, he mutated.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He became like some kind of like metal porcupine
monster. He was like super
He was an animal, but he was like nothing but man and spike, to the point where he didn't speak English. I mean, the Turtles kept telling him, "Stop! You're gonna kill us all." He wouldn't listen to reason.
Yeah, and then he destroyed himself.
Yep. He was so heavy. Everything that fell on top of him was for one thing, but then he was also so massive and heavy. Now he just sunk under and was presumed dead.
Turtle designs. What did you guys think of how buff they are? I just had to go there because they were kind of buff. Except Raph. Raph was just huge.
Raph was the only one who I thought was naturally, buff,
Because Raph is the testosterone-fueled, constantly angry.
He's the one that wants to keep fighting and pretty much keep working out. And
he fits the tough guy role.
Yeah, he does fit the tough guy role.
Leo was pretty accurate as I saw him and such, except it seemed like he could use a bit more dialogue in the movie. He's mostly just a leader.
He only had
he needed that extra push to show that he needed to show everyone that he deserved to be leader. Right. Because I didn't see that in here.
Because they kept hinting back to it a couple times, but it felt like it was less impactful because it was just like, oh yeah, Leo's the leader. We should probably fit some dialogue in there to make him say something. Okay, now we did. Move back to the action. Yeah. That's what kind of said. They kept trying to shoehorn in some of their dialogue, especially Leo. He was left out. I mean, half the movie he was being tasered. So
yeah. And about his dialogue, it was so hard for me to sort of think like, hey, this is Leo, because Johnny Knoxville's voice was coming out of him
Wait, what?
Johnny Knoxville
does Leo's voice.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, you didn't know that?
I did not.
Wow.
Neither did I, actually.
I mean, I knew that Seth Green voiced Howard the Duck, and that surprised me. And I'm like, hey, he's a perfect fit.
And
for
Seth
Howard the
Green
Duck.
is going to voice, what was it? Is going to be the new voice actor for Leo in the Nick one. He's taking over for Jason Biggs.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I don't know if that'll fit.
Yeah, man. He does.
In the Nickelodeon cartoon, he's kind of nerdy because he's watching like a Star Trek knockoff show to get his advice for like how to be a leader. So it's kind of funny seeing him kind of grow to try and lead his brothers, but he's constantly sounding like some kind of like Power Ranger retard, corny great Saiyaman dialogue and such.
William Shatner.
William Shatner.
I think Seth Green might pull it off. I mean, he does a lot of voices and like in like Robot Chicken and I wouldn't be surprised if he could do a fairly decent Leonardo. Although the change is going to be pretty hard to transition through.
Back to the designs, though. Leo, his appearance, I kind of grew on it after a while because he fit that kind of like samurai shogun kind of appeal. He had like the bamboo like chest plate.
Yeah, I wouldn't say shogun. That's really more of what Shredder's outfit was.
Yeah,
but he had more of a Ronin.
Yeah, a Ronin warrior look.
Yeah, you're more knowledgeable with all the
Eastern
culture,
stuff.
Yeah. I think they actually kind of did a good job making him look like that. The weird part is the fact they gave him sneakers where other turtles didn't have sneakers. It was kind of weird though. So, I mean, but other than that, his design it kind of grew on me.
Also, where did they get all the tech for their hideout? Like, if they can't really go above ground, they obviously can't purchase.
Well, as you
and I'm pretty sure people aren't throwing out that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it'll be different if it was all like old like transistor TVs and stuff like that, like stuff that people just throw out, like stuff they grab from the junkyard. But they had freaking like flat screens.
Yeah,
and they were actually really nice ones too. They weren't
handy. And didn't they have like a whole wall of
stereos, boom boxes and subwoofers?
Yeah, and they didn't look busted up either. Like they were thrown out. Like they looked.
They were
like
clean,
brand new.
Brand new.
So like, if the turtles are supposed to be heroes in a half show, that's very unheroic to be stealing from stores.
Yeah.
Usually they like take secondhand trash, and that's always been their thing.
Yeah.
But I guess that's Michael Bay's way of modernizing it, also, because they're making them know instead of 80s rock and such like that, now they're following like hip hop and rap and so on and so forth. Now, I mean, during the credits song, I guess they were doing a remix of the turtle rap, or not the ninja rap.
No, it's called Shell Shock.
But
even Vanilla Ice doesn't like that song.
I didn't recognize it. I wasn't sure what I was listening to. I just thought it was some kind of generic rap song.
It is a generic rap song. They put some Turtles elements into there just to make it like
they said like, oh, it's a remix of Vanilla Ice's Go Ninja.
No, there is no remix for Ninja Rap.
Like, that was
Vanilla Ice
hated it.
I
had no idea.
He came out and said like, I don't like it. Like,
wait, which one?
Ninja Rap.
Ninja.
The remix to his Ninja Rap.
Yeah, Shell Shock. Like Vanilla Ice like heard it and he said like he didn't even go like saying like my version's better. He's just saying like this one doesn't sound right.
It just sounds awful.
It does.
I personally liked it.
Yeah.
She has no taste.
Rap was fine. Leonardo looked perfect. Back on the designs.
Yeah.
Michelangelo, I don't know. Something was off about
him. Shrek.
No, he was.
He did. He was like chubby.
He was the most human-looking one with his lips and like with. I think he's got like the biggest, most noticeable like nostrils, like noses. Or.
Well, I think they were trying.
Hold on.
He reminded me a bit of a toned-down mud flapping Skids.
Yeah. And every time when you saw the artwork in the credits and you see him up close, he's got like big puffy lips like that very race in general. But the other turtles don't have that kind of appearance or attitude. So it felt like they were trying to make Mikey more appealing to like today's kids, like how John Cena's a wrestler that's just he raps.
Yeah,
so
Cena.
But
CM Punk. Sorry.
I don't know. That could be just my opinion though. I'm not really sure if Mikey had pulled off that look entirely, but I kind of feel like that there's a little bit of a vibe coming off that.
I don't know. I think that's just Michael Bay's humor though, because he does a lot. Like in all the Transformers
racial
movies,
stuff.
There's a lot of racial humor.
He puts a lot of racial humor.
Yeah, and I think he tried to make it like less. I mean, I think he wanted, as producer, I'm sure he wanted it to be put in there. The director just kind of had to work with it, but the director tried to tone it down to like a certain level, but it's still obviously noticeable because it's not on the same level. It's not as
it's not blatant.
Yeah, it's not so offensive as like the stuff that's happened in Transformers exactly, but it's like it's still noticeable though to a degree.
Yeah, and it's subtle at least.
And to Mikey's credit, he actually is pretty much the funniest one out of all four turtles. Yeah. So he's got the humor in some parts going for him.
Kind of. Most of his humor in the movie, I believe, was a lot of just hitting on April. He barely joked at all. Like mostly, like when they were pumped with adrenaline. All the turtles were hilarious.
Yeah,
but like every other time that Michelangelo spoke, it seemed like he was just talking about April or flirting with April or talking about going to flirt with April. And it got to the point where this isn't like Mikey's supposed to be the funny guy, you know, making up stupid lines or, you know, naming the villains for them like in the Nickelodeon cartoon. But it felt like Mikey was now just the container for like all the sex punch lines that Michael Bay couldn't fit in the movie elsewhere.
I think the tone was just really off for Ninja Turtles in general.
Yeah.
Like there's a few scenes like the elevator scene.
Yeah.
That's like what the Turtles should be like.
That awesome.
Like if the whole movie was that kind of tone,
because like the Turtles
everything would be
serious.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Turtles aren't always serious characters.
They're goofy. They're supposed to
be
in
the elevator. They're pumped. They're ready to go. And after a while, Mikey, being the younger brother, the cool guy, he's like,
he's just
MC Mikey.
Pump it up.
Yeah.
Let's pump it up. Let's pump it up.
And then one by one, they all joined in.
Exactly.
Like,
and
like they also felt like actual brothers in that scene. For the rest of the movie, they just kind of felt like a bunch of misfits that just kind of came together.
They were complaining.
It's like not even Guardians of the Galaxy type misfits. Like they were just like four guys that they just threw together.
Like four players in a co-op game that are just like they're playing as brothers, but they're not really brothers.
Yeah.
But you know the players themselves, it just kind of they worked well in the fights.
Yeah.
They knew how to really coordinate, work together. That snow scene, my favorite part was when Leo was unconscious during the snow slide scene. Leo, wake up, get up! They slide him closer, slap him in the face, he wakes up. All during the fight, nothing stops.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that part worked also.
I'm like, this action scene is just, it's awesome.
Yeah.
That was the best scene in the whole movie. But back on Mikey, yeah, his design, I didn't like him. Leonardo was still cool, as I said. Raphael fit. I think the worst design was probably Donatello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They went, like, they kind of geeked him up in the cartoon, gap between his teeth. He's a major nerd, talks like one, uses a lot of language like that. He has a crush on the girl that he doesn't have the nerve to talk to. Total geek, nerdy kind of stereotype, which they didn't go so far with in the cartoon. In the movie, like, he didn't act it, thankfully. He was actually more like a tech geek and less of a, like, nerd. Mm-hmm. But his appearance was just, holy crap.
Yeah.
They made him the like major stereotypical like the nerd that gets bullied kind of nerd.
Yeah, he's got the giant glasses with the tape.
Tape glasses, got the goggles set. He looks like a walking Albert Einstein, like some kind of crazy scientist. And like
he was like Revenge of the Nerds is what they made Donatello.
He's got solar panels on his legs
instead of leg pads.
Yeah, instead of leg pads. And he's also got a huge backpack, or I don't know what that was, but
carries all his tech and such.
He had a Ghostbusters backpack.
Yeah, he did.
It just felt like he was the most decked out of all the turtles. It would seem impossible for him to do all the things that they're known for, being ninjas. But they pulled it off, but it just still felt awkward with Donatello.
Yeah.
I mean, and then worst of all, he's got the gap between his teeth. In the cartoon, it looks alright. But it seems like in Out of the Shadows and in this movie, they keep accidentally CGIing his head to look like a freaking mule.
Yeah.
He's constantly got like horse teeth, just.
Yeah.
Every time he talks or opens his mouth, I just imagine a freaking braying donkey. And I'm like, just like stop, get him off screen, please. I'm insulted. Donnie's one of my favorite characters because he's a smart one in the group, but I'm slowly leaning toward Leo now. Just not because of this. But just after a while, it feels like they don't know what to do with Donnie.
Yeah,
sometimes.
He actually did have a funny scene, like where
Plus, everyone's starting to like Donnie now because he has range in the games. Plus, he's the nerd guy that has a crush on April. Everyone wants to find out. Everyone can relate with the guy who has a hard time talking to the girl.
Yeah.
Sorry.
One thing you brought up was where he barely acts like a ninja. There was one part like after they escaped from getting their blood drained, and they were outside, and like Donnie just puts down his goggles, and then sees that the foot soldiers have guns, and like it's, oh, they have guns, like that. That earned a laugh out of me. But I'm guessing not out of any of you.
No, not really.
I'm even trying to figure out.
I didn't. It just seemed like that was more like a statement, not of like a joke. It was just like they got guns and he's scared. So I'm like, okay.
All right. Okay.
Okay, here come the guns. We know what's coming now.
Okay.
The thing is, why does that shock him so much if they've been fighting the Foot Clan for quite a while already?
And there's guns.
Yeah, in every altercation they've had guns. So why is that all of a sudden an issue for him?
Maybe he's just surprised they have guns as much as the viewers are surprised that the Foot Clan aren't ninjas and they're toting guns.
And they're the worst shots ever.
They're stormtroopers. They just shoot everywhere. If we shoot everywhere but where they are, maybe they'll try to dodge and get hit by the bullets.
They have their shells turned to us. You know, our bullets obviously haven't hurt them the past 30 or 40 minutes we've been fighting in this entire film. But let's not aim for their legs or their arms, which, you know, they're clearly standing there protecting Megan Fox and Vern.
Or let's not all surround them so we can shoot from different angles.
I
also like how they obviously have all of this equipment. Like, they're obviously funded well. They have like assault rifles and like all this high tech equipment and stuff. Why don't they have
the super tasers?
Well, I was gonna say, why don't they use grenades?
Yeah.
And if they're trying to attach turtles alive, I get that, but they could have stun grenades or smoke grenades to actually get the drop on the turtles. I mean, just because they're soldiers, I mean, they're considered Foot Clan, like, you know, they've always been like ninjas. Why not give them some kind of like Spec Ops type equipment and that type of, like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
right?
I know what you're trying to say.
Not something less warfare and guns and explosions.
Like, they should feel more Spec Ops and less terrorist.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the way of putting it.
Why don't they have any net guns to like just try and like just shoot right at them? They would capture them and like not hurt them at all.
It's Bay.
Yeah.
Bay is pretty much like the one also behind the camera saying, you know
Maybe
what? No, that sounds like a good idea, but you know what? I want explosions there. Oh, and I want a bang to go off there.
And I want that guy to explode.
And yet, as he pointed out, they didn't use any grenades.
No, they didn't.
He obviously used soldiers instead of ninjas because he didn't have the budget or probably didn't want to bother training hundreds of 200s of people to learn martial arts, or they couldn't bother to just CGI in a bunch of ninjas, you know, choreographed and whatnot.
I really hated that with Ninja Assassin, where all the ninja action was all CGI'd.
Yeah.
that's Western. That's what happens when Western movies try to do that. I'd be okay with that in Turtles though, because it's not a realistic movie.
They could have took the extras
from
from
that. I mean, instead of shit on essentially what is Shredder's entire backstory, mess up his origin, mess up everything. The Foot Clan aren't even ninja, so
They could have took the extras from Kung Fu Hustle and just slap on some black gear.
They should have just let Stephen Chow just direct it.
That would have made a lot of sense.
Okay.
No, wait. Didn't he do the Dragon Ball movie?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think he would ruin it that much.
The Dragon Ball Evolution movie was made, acted, funded, written, and directed by a bunch of like no-name people that no one ever heard of.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Like, it was a studio that just kind of like popped up and then died.
You blasphemy bastard.
Okay.
Ruin a good franchise!
Dragon Ball Evolution was literally just a B movie that everyone should just kind of forget. Or maybe not forget, because we have thought about
I mean, I actually like it, and it's a movie that's so bad that you can't look away from it. It's kind of like the Street Fighter movie.
Much like Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's so ridiculously off topic, but it's like...
It's become a cult classic and a reminder of like...
Like, you just laugh so hard at how bad they, like, and how far they went with
I
it.
will never
they
let
didn't
my
just
future
make
kids
it bad,
watch
but
that
they went through did all these special effects and everything. Like, they were so, like, convinced what they were doing was right.
But it was all wrong!
They tried to make it serious. They weren't joking around like the old Turtle movies were.
It's so hard.
Mario Brothers and Dragon Ball Evolution are those movies where it's like you can have your girlfriend over and not feel embarrassed because you could be like, dude, you will not believe that they actually tried to make a movie out of this.
Yeah.
I am Master Roshi!
It's a fun one.
Oh, I can't believe they actually got Chow Yun-Fat to play Master Roshi.
Yeah!
It was so bad.
Speaking of Roshi...
How could Chow Yun-Fat play a character that bad? Like, really?
Something went wrong. Speaking of Master Roshi, which does tie into Ninja Turtles, the ending sequence when Splinter was still crippled, dead, or whatever the hell he was like down there for a long time. Anyone else notice that?
Yeah.
There wasn't anybody down there with him either.
No, all the turtles left.
Yeah, they left him there, and they didn't really do anything that we saw, like, to help him
He was
recover.
left there. That was when the turtle got captured, taken to the fort on the snow mountain. They fought all the way down the mountain, which was what, like a good 30 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
Well, like the trip down to them. To us viewers, it was like 10 minutes, 5
Yeah.
minutes. But to them, it was a good half hour down the slope, an hour to get back to the city, fight the Shredder on top of the... climb the tower, fight past all the Foot Clan, get to the top of the tower, fight Shredder. Something like that, all that time to travel, fight, stop, their ride down the building when they're inside the broken satellite tower, all of that looked like it would take maybe, half a day? Because it was still daytime at least.
Yeah.
But even then, it would have been a good maybe 6-8 hours.
Yeah.
And Shredder was down there for all we know. He could have died within 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, to make matters worse, relating to the Dragon Ball Evolution thing that you were talking about, it reminded me of it, they heal Master Splinter with mutagen.
Yeah, and the mutagen was extracted from their blood in the first place.
Yes. At what point in the cartoons, the movies, in Turtle history, at one point in Turtle history, does mutagen heal the mutated?
Yeah, and that wasn't even what like I said before, that's not even what the main purpose of what it was supposed to be in this movie. It was an antidote, and just that. It's not supposed to be this magical, regenerating serum.
Nope.
It'll bring you back from near death. I mean,
Nope.
It's meant to cure disease.
Nope.
No, the mutagen was literally just a substance that mutated whatever it came in contact with.
Nope.
It was the MacGuffin of this movie.
A little different in each series, in each movie, but it's always been at its base the same thing.
Yeah.
It mutates whatever comes in contact with.
Yeah.
And in the Nickelodeon cartoon, which by the way, the movie is funded by Nickelodeon Studios.
That's true. Yeah.
The mutagen mutates whatever it comes in contact with. Even if they're already mutated, it mutates them further.
Yep.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, that just reminded me. Nickelodeon Studios funded this movie. That immediately kind of shows that we probably shouldn't have had too much faith in it, considering they funded The Last Airbender.
And that's why I'm not going to go see SpongeBob 2.
That's a good point. Wait, this Last Airbender
No, SpongeBob 2. I'm not going to go see that.
Yeah, that looks terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think of that. Yeah, SpongeBob.
Yeah, if it was all traditional animation, I would actually want to see it. But the fact they're above water.
How are they breathing? Didn't they just do that with SpongeBob when he was in? There was an episode with Sandy, and he was trapped in her home, and yet he was drying out.
He dehydrated.
He dehydrated.
It was over time a little bit. So the first SpongeBob movie was a little fine because they were dying in the heat. They caused the fire alarm to go off, caused the water to rain inside the little shed, and they were only outside to meet Hasselhoff for a couple minutes, so they had enough time.
Also,
you guys are right. I hadn't thought about that. In the second movie, they're clearly out in daytime, unless whatever super serum Plankton gave them. I'm assuming it's Plankton. He's the genius.
Yeah.
Whatever super thing he did to turn them into Avenger knockoffs must have given them the ability to be on Earth because they were human sized too.
Yeah.
Because you look back at it, you think back at the trailer, they're really referencing Avengers.
Yeah.
Patrick, Ice Cream, summoning a thunderstorm. SpongeBob's the leader with blue and white as Captain America. Plankton's a big Hulk. Mr. Krabs is Iron Man as a robot. I don't know what Sandy is, but she might be Black Widow. Look out for a black cat. Hide that chest, please.
She's actually a giant, realistic-looking squirrel, from what I saw in the trailer. One of the guys was actually riding on top of her, and I don't know what that was all about.
It's basically Nickelodeon's version of the Avengers.
I kind of thought more of Blaze Blue when I saw Sandy in the movie. Because Makoto.
Oh yeah.
She's the squirrel girl. Yeah.
She's super cute.
She's super cute.
What were we talking about? The mutagen thing. Nickelodeon Studios mutagen. Mutagen. Why does the mutagen heal Splinter? Didn't you have a good phrase for that? That'd be taking someone's blood out and then just putting it back in and they're automatically better.
Yeah, that's essentially what they did.
Actually, that sort of brings up a plot hole that I kind of have a problem with. Pretty much Leo, Donnie, and Mikey were pretty much drained of their blood to the point where they were almost ready to pass out.
Right.
And then suddenly they get that adrenaline rush, and then they're suddenly okay, and then I really don't know
it's one. I think it's one of those implied things you have to guess is why they're okay because they pumped up their adrenaline, so I guess their hearts beat faster and it produced more blood. But even then, that doesn't make any sense. It's just implied.
And wouldn't the adrenaline run out after a while, with all the stuff they've been through, and what you said, how long it actually took them to get up to to like fight with Shredder.
The adrenaline rush really
then
only lasts for maybe like a minute or two tops.
Yeah, as soon as they got outside, they were perfectly fine. They weren't all like, "Wee, I'm airplane." I mean, I thought that was the funniest part. They're pumped with adrenaline. They're all like super hyperactive, happy.
Like,
next thing you know, Raph, are you okay? You okay, Raph? Yeah, you're okay. I was like, wow, such remorse for your brother, guys. Their adrenaline's so high, they're showing remorse, but they're doing it as best they could right now because they're just like, wah! So that part at least funny because I've never actually thought about doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, seeing that in a cartoon when someone's so full of adrenaline, but they're still remorseful, but they just sound like lunatics at the same time.
Yeah.
So that was kind of funny.
Okay. Okay. So moving on to what I think is the ugliest character in the movie, Splinter.
I was okay with Splinter's.
I was okay with him too.
Actually.
They were trying to be.
I mean, he's a rat. I mean, you don't really think of pretty cute animals when you think rats.
But I mean, I thought they would try and make him look, I mean...
Like the Nickelodeon one, which is funded by...
Yeah, kind of like a cross between the Nickelodeon one and the one that was in the movies before, just to like,
But then again, you think about it, much like the Park Ranger and Yogi Bear and the principal in Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Splinter's never had a stable character image. In every single... media he's appeared in, he always had a cosmetic change.
That's true.
The only thing that really remains the same is he's a rat and he has a Fu Manchu mustache.
And he kept stroking it the entire movie.
He doesn't always have a mustache. He always does have like some kind of beard. Either small or big.
But he always has like an Eastern type beard.
Kept stroking it the whole movie.
They still keep essentially the same theme.
But
yeah, he always has had a different image.
If
so
you
the
watch
rat thing...
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I was gonna say back on Splinter, if you because I was when I was watching Turtles Forever and they were going through all the different dimensions where all the other turtles were coming from. Splinter did have there was Hawaiian shirt Splinter and then there was a white face Splinter. There was like different.
I actually saw the end of TMNT 3, the old movie one on I think it was Hub Network, and at the very end, Michelangelo was bummed to leave the past, and it showed, and to get him to laugh again, Splinter's all of a sudden appeared with the Hawaiian shirt on.
Which they actually put
he did like
some
kind of Elvis impression, and I'm like, oh, that reminded me of that.
Yeah,
but that might have been referenced in Turtles Forever.
I think that was because originally they wanted to keep it to the to his outfit, his most known outfit,
as part of his default.
But I think they just took that idea based on the third movie. But Splinter through the generations, there's been different variations of Splinter. So I think this one is like the only exception. I just think that if they were fine at where they were going. If they tweak it down, if they even tweak it a little bit more for the next movie, I don't know if I could even like it anymore.
Yeah,
it was just fine.
Splinter was pretty badass in this one. I mean, he was taking on
He did more.
He did more than like we've seen him do in the movies, and yeah, he was taking on all these foot soldiers. He was actually using his tail to fight, which I think they might have done it, but I can't really remember.
I don't remember ever seeing that ever being done.
He never did that in any Turtles movie.
That was actually a good point.
I was actually really
resourceful.
He
did use his tail a lot. One thing the movies definitely did right is like Splinter used his animal side more.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that in any iteration.
I think
he's always been a master martial artist, just in the form of a rat. But in the movie, they did a damn good job of having him crawl around, slink around, whip his tail around, and constantly, be full rat.
I think they've done that I think they've done it in the Nick one, but I can't remember a moment that really stands out.
He used
it seldomly, not so much like almost like it was another limb for him.
Yeah.
He just used it like whenever it was just like he didn't want to do anything, so his tail did it.
In some of the cartoon. Before the movie came out, I noticed in some of the cartoons, even in Turtles Forever, he did sometimes use either some of the turtles' weapons, or sometimes he does use his tail, but it's only for just minor hits and whatnot. He really didn't. This was like the first Splinter we've actually seen him in full action and him actually doing something. I can't per se for the first Turtles movie. I mean, all he did was freaking took one of the turtles' weapons and just pretty much threw off Shredder over the edge of the freaking building. That's the last time we ever saw.
Worst turtle fight scene ever. Splinter. Clean.
And I'm falling off now. And wasn't the only other thing he did was what was it, shoot an arrow in the second one?
Yeah, that's pretty much all he did in the second movie. Is
you can only do so much when you're stuck in a rat costume.
Yeah. But I think where they were going with
were they costumes or were they puppets and
costumes with animatronic heads?
Okay.
So the actors inside would move around.
I think this is the one time where CGI actually does work for a character like Splinter.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Times have changed. You know, CGI and mocap is it's real. They can make it realistic looking now. Where like CGI back then was like hardly believable. You're like, it looks like Sharknado back then.
Probably even worse than I remember Last Starfighter. Have you seen that movie?
I've seen I've seen
the CG in Last Starfighter is so bad by today's standards. Like I remember liking it when I was a kid, but then I rewatched it more recently and I was just like,
whoa, what the hell? What was I into? What was I into?
I had a moment like that. I went back and watched Donkey Kong Country.
Ooh.
My eyes and my ears. I swear, if they weren't bleeding, I'm pretty sure they were in a couple more minutes.
That's how I felt watching Reboot again.
It was
like, wow.
That was like watching. I was like, what was that like? Polygon Man, the movie.
Pretty much. It was pretty low in graphics.
For me, I love it. I love it to death. But like when I look at Beast Wars,
my god.
And plus, like looking at Transformers Prime, where like the CG for like each character in there is like, it's like superb. But like looking back at Beast Wars, like that's.
I think the best CG for a Transformers show was Energon, personally. Like,
I couldn't handle the whole like 2D like CG all being together like sometimes. Yeah.
See, I actually liked it mainly because they did really good on the cell shading of the models, and I think it actually blended really nicely. But that's me personally. Though.
We all have our different opinions on it. Like what he said about Beast Wars, I didn't mind Beast Wars. Beast Wars so fun.
No, but I'm saying like if you look back at it now, graphically,
graphically.
Anyway,
okay. One character I'd like to talk about that I think was severely underrated.
We're not allowed to. Go on.
Was Karai.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring her up, but then I suddenly forgot. Good point.
They didn't even mention her name.
Was she in the movie?
They did.
They did.
Yeah, they did mention her name.
Well, like once, but then like I couldn't remember. Like
it was literally once. I was waiting for them to say it because I'm like, that's Karai. I'm pretty sure it's Karai. After like seeing her like 3 or 4 times on screen, and that's different scenes, not just like different camera clip. Like a good while into the movie, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's Karai. Yeah. Somebody please say her name. She finally said it. I'm like, it is Karai. Okay. But then
you have Miwa.
After we learn her identity, it seems like she's kind of just like.
There's really no purpose to her being there.
No, pretty much she's there just to get her ass handed to her like at every time she shows up.
She had like such a short moment. She didn't really do anything like that. We kind of know Karai, the
she
cartoons and all that stuff.
She fell far from how she's usually portrayed.
She did not really like go get that, get into her character, because Karai, when you know Karai, she's like this other badass kind of assassin kind of character. But in this movie, she was just like another typical woman that just stuck out.
The leader of a thug.
Yeah, just the leader. There's always that one female leader of the bad gang, and she was that one leader.
If you got a female lead, you gotta have a female villain, because then you got
can't fight.
Like I think she was there mainly because I'm sure like in the sequel they want to do something more with Karai, and I think they just kind of threw her in there just so people know like where she came from and when she does appear in the next movie.
But she's like
that would have been good if they established her a bit more.
Yeah.
She automatically disappears.
Because being the daughter of Shredder, it's kind of shameful to see that she didn't at all fight.
Adoptive daughter.
She was mostly just like pointed a gun at April.
Adoptive daughter.
Just, moving on.
Good.
And then
you gotta say spoiler alert on these kind of things.
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler
I will
alert.
put it in the title.
You'll have to like cut or something or like. But yeah, that is a serious spoiler. That Karai is actually adopted from Shredder, forcefully adopted, because Karai is actually Splinter's daughter.
Yeah.
Oh.
The daughter that he thought Shredder killed.
Well, that's like the alternate timeline.
I know. Not the movie timeline.
Not the movie timeline.
Yeah.
It's back
obviously
in the...
Splinter's not related in any way. He's just a fucking rat that got mutated. But no, in the original stories, that literally is the case. And
have they
but
done?
it's not really a spoiler if we're talking about the Ninja Turtles movie, though.
But
yeah, I know. But for those who watch the cartoon, it was news to me.
What?
I didn't even know that until the cartoon.
yeah, but
I was like, whoa.
okay, so they didn't do it anytime before the Nick cartoon, or
They probably have. I just haven't noticed.
yeah,
That's what I was saying. The Nick cartoon, they did it, and I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
I did not know that. But then again, I never watched the '80s cartoon all the way through because it got boring after a while, and I never watched. Dude,
I watched that straight through.
Dude, after season 1, Mikey's nunchucks were removed from the show entirely because I guess in Europe it's not too violent to show ninjas on TV.
They had to change the word ninjas because they find it very
Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
It was all because of some street gangs using nunchucks.
But they had to change it so much they had to change it. They said it was okay to have, I guess for some reason it was okay to have swords, scythes, and a bow, but Mikey's nunchucks were too ninja-like to keep in the show, so instead of editing it out for one region, they ended up editing it out for the whole cartoon. So everybody that watched the cartoon had to sit there and watch Mikey use a grappling hook the entire series. From season 2 off till like season 10. That is literally that's too many seasons. That's way too much. First season alone was the only time he had nunchucks. After that, they got rid of the grappling hook. I like how in the Nick cartoon they took inspiration from that, though, and took his nunchucks and made them transformable kusarigamas.
Yeah.
They pop out a sickle and they extend. I'm like, that is genius. It's great. Homage to the old Turtles, and it makes them more versatile.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Okay, we talking about Karai.
Oh yeah, also, if they put her in there, like, if they really wanted to establish her for the next movie, I don't even know who the heck the actress is who plays her, and she didn't really.
She looked way old.
Yeah.
I think they should get the girl that played Ada Wong. I could see her playing Karai perfect.
Yeah.
Leaving,
but also I'm actually surprised they were actually with the casting for the CGI movie. I mean, they actually got Ziyi Zhang to play Karai in that movie. Mm-hmm. You know who she is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, freaking Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I mean, she's like an A-list in Hong Kong cinema, and the fact they actually got her to voice Karai in that movie was actually amazing.
Yeah, that was one of the best things about that movie was like the good voice acting. They just didn't get an entire movie of just like random celebrities just voicing just because hey, it's this celebrity.
They actually did their homework on that movie.
I mean, reference to IGN, they had it with the release of this Turtles movie.
Yeah,
they had a top 5 list of all the Turtles movies.
I saw that.
Number 2 was the CGI TMNT.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hands down, I agree with that because it is the most accurate film. One of the most they got great actors for all the characters. They portrayed the Turtles great. It was after the Shredder, the Turtles disbanded. Leo had to go elsewhere to kind of learn what it takes to be a leader, so on and so forth. They had one of the most epic Leo and Raph fight scenes in Turtle history. Just Raphael's character in general, straying off on his own, becoming a rogue vigilante of his own, was also a great idea. The ending fight scene was kind of lackluster with it being not so powerful, not very good villains to fight.
Yeah.
But regardless, it was the most accurate and just most close to the mark movie they made.
Yeah.
Number 1 being, of course, the first Turtles movie with the guys in suits and everything.
Yeah, and
that one was pretty good because it had a good balance, like I said in the review, like they said in their top 5 list. It had a good balance of comedy, humor, drama, action. Like you really felt for the Turtles and their plight, trying to rescue Master Splinter and so on and so forth. It was a good balance. If they went and remade that and just followed the script exactly as is, but with today's technology and CGI and budgets and such, it'd be a great movie.
Yeah,
it'd be an absolutely great movie.
And about that list, I think wasn't this newest one? Didn't that only make number 4, just above? Just above the third one.
Just above the third Turtles movie, which, by the way, I do recall, Turtles 3 was really bad.
Yeah.
Even though I'm the only one in this group that actually liked the third movie.
My girlfriend liked it, but she said it's been years since she saw it, so she doesn't even know if she'll have the same opinion if she watched it again.
Yeah, when you're young, you tend to be a little naive to a lot of details. A lot of details that tend to be crucial sometimes. Sometimes. There are cases where you go back and see something or play something old, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
This game's... I should have beat this game a long time ago, and this is awesome.
But also, to be fair, the new Ninja Turtles movie, I mean... Of course, it's number 4 when the movies above it are the original Ninja Turtles movie, the CGI one, and the Ooze.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously not going to be better than those 3, so the fact that it's still number 4 on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 3 was just I felt like there was nothing in it.
Yeah.
They went back in time, and that's the whole selling.
I don't even remember the villain in the movie.
Neither do I. It was a nameless villain, a no-care villain. Villain didn't have any powers. They had no reason to go back in time. It's just the whole movie was seriously just turtles go back in time. Yeah, and what else?
They fight the Power Rangers.
Walker. Walker was the villain's name.
The white guy.
Nobody cares, Alex.
The white. I do. Unfortunately.
What? The villain of Turtles 3? Who's
Yeah.
Walker?
Walker was the English guy on the horse. He was one of the main.
Of course, it's not an Asian dude when they're in.
No, there is an Asian dude because there was the father of the son.
The villain went back in time.
Oh.
So it was English.
It was an English dude, and he was doing the whole trade.
His name was Walker, though.
His name was Walker.
How generic.
That's the lamest villain name I've heard. Okay. All right. Getting back. Okay. After Karai.
Karai's input, I felt like just she was there. She obviously showed that she was with the Shredder, but then after that,
she disappeared.
Yeah. Okay. Another really underused character. What was it? Will Arnett as Vern. I don't know why he was in here.
He actually. I looked back on some of the research. I think he actually was April's cameraman.
Yeah,
cartoons.
Yeah, but I also heard that he didn't like her all that much. So.
They had to change the character to make him interesting, besides just a guy that carries a camera around.
Yeah, but then he got turned into a guy that was trying to get with April, who looked probably like 10 years younger than him.
Yeah.
No,
that was kind of weird.
I think that's mostly fault due to just getting actors.
He just kind of felt like a creeper to me.
Yeah.
Like
they got tiring.
The whole vibe I was getting from that guy.
They got tiring.
Yeah. I get your point. But you know how some movies they have actors that try to portray younger characters, but they're clearly 24.
Yeah.
They're clearly in their 30s when they're playing a 18-year-old kid. I think that's mostly the whole Vern and April awkwardness. I think is just in due part of just getting actors and not realizing their age is they don't look like their age. They look too far apart.
Yeah. You know what I think would have been a better change for.
That's where CGI comes in. Make the characters get the voices.
A better character to have instead of Vern is probably to turn April's roommate, who we only saw into Irma.
Yeah. I recall Irma having a bit more familiarity with fans over Vern. Vern was literally just a guy that carried a camera around. Which, like I said, that's probably why they changed his personality in the movie, so he's not just a guy that carries a camera.
Or they could have not had him in the movie at all.
Yeah. But they probably couldn't find a girl for Irma because all the budget went into making Fox's jacket. But Irma, I think they should have really put her in.
Yeah,
she's a nice little just extra character to have with April, someone to talk to.
Yeah, but
I don't know. Maybe that girl wasn't that roommate she was with? Wasn't that Irma?
I don't think so.
No.
They never said who she was.
She was just a random roommate for Megan Fox.
Yeah. Because the key part of Irma, like April's yellow jacket, Irma always wore purple or blue. So if they would have done that, I guess it would have been a nice little teaser that hey, guess what? This is Irma.
Yeah.
For all those fans who know, but
now that I think about it after saying it, I think they might have screwed her up because they would have tried to get just a sexy actress just to try and be okay, you're this nerdy girl. We're gonna put you on. We're just gonna give you some glasses. Act nerdy. It would have been what was it?
She would have been the hot nerd, not exactly how we kind of know.
It just would have been horrible. There's never in a million years that we would ever believe this chick is a scientist.
I don't think she was a scientist.
Just nerdy.
She was kind of like Spider-Man, where it's she was going to school, but she was also pretty intelligent.
I know that there's some hot girls that are nerds, but I don't think that Michael Bay would ever would pull it off.
No. Not in a million years. He cannot.
All you do is just flip the gender.
Michael Bay's just his whole vision, just the way he thinks feels too much like he's a fraternity boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
He's living the little boy fantasy.
He pretty much was a fraternity themed villain in Mystery Man.
How much you want to bet he originally voiced Mikey in the movie?
Oh God.
No.
With all the perverted humor.
Okay. So, kind of going a little bit over time. For the final question of this vidcast. So we already all heard the news that since this first movie kind of hit it big in theaters, that they're going to be doing a number 2. So I just want to find out from you guys right now, what do you want to happen in number 2? That possibly can happen and possibly kind of can't.
Bring the crime.
Get a new director and a new producer.
I want Casey.
Yes!
Yeah.
Casey!
Yeah, Casey would be a nice add-in.
Yeah.
If they get someone right.
Yeah.
Keep in mind after what we just saw recently.
I want to see a Casey versus Casey match. Like, have Casey be the next kind of...
What?
Have the old Casey, okay? The old...
A Casey and Raph fight like there wasn't the first one. Redo that.
The second Turtles movie.
Wasn't it? I thought it was the first one that they fought in.
Yeah,
Casey fought in the first one.
Yeah.
It was the first.
Casey was just, you know...
He dunked Raph into a trash can.
Yeah.
But, no, have, like, the original Casey come back, play some sort of, like, minor villain there.
Do a cameo
Do
or
a
something.
cameo, yeah. That's kind of what I want to, like, see. Because,
Yeah.
seriously, I kind of miss him. I like them. No matter what, if I see him in another movie, like Harold and Kumar, you know, Christmas, I remembered that was Casey right there. So, I kind of want to see that.
Yeah, just have him at the beginning in a cameo, like where the turtles take
He
down,
could be on a phone.
take down a gangster.
He could be on the phone, he could be just doing something random, and then the camera could just point at him and be like, "It's Casey! Yes! Alright,
You have the weirdest
I don't
ideas.
know. Casey's actually a crucial part of the team, so doing a cameo would just be more of like a... Kind of like a...
No, just a cameo of his original actor.
Of
Yeah,
the
that's what
original
she's talking
actor.
about.
Of the
Yeah.
actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of
Like
cool.
them having like the original actor having some kind of interaction with like the new Casey is what she's talking about. I think.
Yeah, I want to see
Like a good
something like that.
old-fashioned kind of
Yeah.
like... Stanley cameo.
Yeah, like in Superman Returns, there was a whole bunch of cameos of people that played in like a whole bunch of other Superman shows and movies, like throughout that whole film.
Well,
So.
Superman Returns is the one where a bullet hits his eyeball and it just crunches up.
Yeah, I'm not
so.
saying it's a good movie. I'm saying that they use like sort of the cameos right in that one, like, you know,
Oh yeah.
like they didn't make it over obvious and it was used good.
I forgot to bring it up when Karai came into the topic. Since Shredder's origin is fucked up in the movie, as I mentioned earlier, Karai, she's apparently her... Okay, so if... There's something wrong here. Karai is supposed to be Splinter's daughter.
Uh-huh.
Well, Splinter was never in Japan.
Yep.
We established that. So, who is Karai? Is Karai just now Shredder's daughter? Is she still adopted? Is there going to be any... Does Karai even have a reason of being there now? Is she even going to have any, like, emotional connection to anybody?
Possibly not.
No.
She's just going to be
That's what I mean.
the other female.
Because in the cartoon, it's already been shown that the Turtles are trying to convince Karai that you're being fooled by Shredder. He's not your real father. Splinter's your real father. So she's having, like, emotional issues trying to accept that fact and trying to side with the Turtles, and then she doesn't want to side because she doesn't want to believe that Shredder lied to her all these years. Like, that emotional event they could put in the movies for major dramatic effect, no chance of it now.
Yeah.
So, like, now Karai is simply just like the Shredder, just a B-list villain, just being evil because her father's evil.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, unless they shoehorn in somehow, oh, Splinter's my real father, but it's like they've already established they were pets in a lab. They've already established
Yeah.
they never knew martial arts until they found the book.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe someone rewrote his memory to make him think he was a rat the whole time.
I mean, unless they want to do it, unless they want to do
He
the,
was a human who was turned into a rat who was then mutated into like a humanoid rat.
I mean, unless they want to do like. Unless, like, the third movie, they want to do a Turtles in Time, like X-Men Days of Future Past. And
No!
just go back in time and fix all the fuck-ups they did.
Oh, and what if each time they change the past, it turns into like a different version of the Turtles that we've already seen? Like one,
No!
like, it turns into like, you know, the '80s movies, and then
Like how all the cartoons already did.
yeah, pretty much like that. Like
The 2002 Fox cartoon, Ninja Turtles did that. They paid homage to the 80s in the comic book. And
yeah,
then the Nickelodeon cartoon did reference to the 80s cartoon by sending a giant alien worm back to their dimension. I bet you it's another plot by a Shredder. You know what the plan is? Yep, we do. We stop this thing and order pizza.
Yeah!
Cowabunga!
best scene ever.
Like they were drawn and animated in the old 80s style and everything.
Oh wow.
And they even got
So
the original actors.
It was a nice homage. Oh yeah, that's what it was. When they first saw them, they were just walking through like this hallway on the Krang ship where it had like doors to different dimensions. They happened to peer into a dimension where everything was animated in 2 dimensions, and they saw themselves. The turtles saw their old selves. Whoa, what is up with us? We look all strange and pudgy. I don't know. April's looking pretty good. That's a sweet jumpsuit, Donatello. Ooh, sweet jumpsuit. Come on, Donnie.
So,
But that was all I got. But then at the very end, they go back to the 80s again. They have the worm teleported into their dimension.
yeah.
Where do you think that worm went to? I'm pretty sure it's fine.
So the Casey bit, you mentioned Crane.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to see for the next movie?
As I said, a different director and producer.
Different, okay.
Like maybe we can get someone that, or if not that, maybe it's the writers, whoever is responsible for like majority of just a lot of the non-canon, just a lot of the weird stuff, even if the choreography, and the character planning, just like putting characters in just to have them there and then going away, like Karai and so on and so forth. Get someone to organize those better.
Yeah.
Make it work better. If you want to stick with your first film, seriously, do some better coordinating in the second film. Because it just felt like things were everywhere.
Yeah, they could do like what they do with the Incredible Hulk and act like the other Hulk movie never happened.
They could do that too.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I think they'd have to get a different director or something.
Yeah.
So after one movie, just give it a reboot.
You know you did bad. We gotta do this all over again.
They basically were just like, well, we kind of showed that, hey, this is how Hulk was made, so people don't need to see that again, so let's just start over from...
Incredible Hulk showed that, the first Hulk, that didn't matter, and then the Avengers showed that the Incredible Hulk didn't matter by never saying anything about that ever again, and getting an entirely new guy to do that.
So they didn't even reference the General or...
Actually, there's one thing there's actually two things I would like to see in the second Turtles. A quite familiar Rhino and Warthog show up again.
I don't think they're going to. Speaking of references,
I think they just feel too 80s to bring back for that movie.
But I think a lot of people
give them a complete
enjoy
redesign.
It.
Yeah, I'd rather see them as a cameo in the cartoon first. The movie, they're trying to go too realistic with it. Might as well just leave them out. Putting a cameo in there would be just kind of like...
Like, I would like to see some new mutated animals, like, as enemies in the next movie.
Yeah.
But how they were drawn out, like, in, did you even see Turtles Forever? Or no?
No. One thing I want them to do, though, that they did hint at, when he had the turtles locked up and he talked, and, Eric Sachs?
Yeah.
He was stating he was actually amazed at how these turtles looked and how big they became, and he said he couldn't believe that these turtles became like this, and he was thinking of experimenting on rabbits.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a reference. That could be a reference to Usagi.
Yeah.
The rabbit samurai. But then again, I remember reading it somewhere, I think he might be from a different comic, and they just kind of merged for a bit in the comics. That's why they never really...
I think they're still partly together, but isn't his origin a bit more like, mystical or something like that? Like, not really so much science-based? Or...
I don't think it's mystical. I don't know. I don't know his origin. All I know is that he's a samurai rabbit, and I want to see more of him.
I think he actually was a separate thing, because I remember my sister actually reading like a graphic novel about that character.
Yeah.
Nickelodeon idea.
That's what I'm saying, because I really think he's a separate...
Yeah.
Like, he has separate ownership. Which is why they don't appear together all the time. But he has worked with the turtles on more than one occasion, so it'd be kind of...
they say guys interrupt girls more often than girls interrupt guys.
Sorry.
And this video is proof of that.
No, but you know what? I want everyone to have their own point. But I just had like a brain fart. So, anyways, it was Nickelodeon idea because he said rabbits, and now I'm thinking rabbits. So is it gonna be like TMNT 2, Attack of Raving Rabbits?
No,
never.
We already had that happen. We already had it happen in the game.
TMNT, smash, smash. I will put a hit out on Michael Bay if he ever tries if that happens.
Did you pick it?
I have it, yes. TMNT Smash Up.
Oh, I like that game.
I just bought it for like nostalgia purposes.
Alright, so...
Raving rabbits are stupid.
No, I don't like that.
No, that's too far out there.
I would actually be like the only one person that would want to see that movie.
Essentially, was the 25th anniversary for the Turtles. Ubisoft essentially just unzipped their pants and stuck it right in, put it 3 times. Literally 3 times.
This is all staying together. I think I'm just gonna only edit a few parts. But anyways.
No, fair enough.
So, okay, overall suggestion on this movie, I will go last, but... Fine, you know what? I'll go first.
Okay.
No, I'll go first.
If you want to say it, just say it.
Okay, overall first, I did like the movie. There was a lot of stuff that they could have, kind of just rewrite over and kind of fix. Overall, my rate on this movie would have to be a 3 out of 5. Like I said, origin-wise, it was going to a good, it was going somewhere good, but they kind of just butchered it. kind of like need less Michael Bay stuff. Dear God in the second movie. But 3 out of 5. I know what their reaction is going to be on this. I'm probably going to be the only one out of this group that's going to buy this movie on DVD.
Wow, you gave it a 3 out of 5? I thought you would have gone higher.
No, that's pretty modest considering her.
Yeah.
Cool with that.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give
Thanks, David.
No. That actually is pretty modest because usually you tend to overrate things.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 2. I'm gonna give it a 2.5 out of 5. So I mean, it had some great action. The Ninja Turtles were probably the best part of it, and CGI was great for some characters, not great for others. The action was really awesome. So yeah, go and see the what I'm officially calling it now, April O'Neil and the Ninja Turtles movie.
What is that?
No, that's the real name. To how they weren't in there all that much, and it was mostly April's story.
Yeah, April O'Neil and Turtles, because she did have more screen time.
It was Transformers all over again. We barely see them. And
so it's Shia LaBeouf and...
You sure you don't want to name it the fan fiction Megan Fox meets Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, the fan fiction!
That's a good one.
There you go, what he said.
That's a new name.
That's a new name.
I mean, in a way I kind of think about it, the Turtles movie kind of felt like... No, I shouldn't compare to that. It's not that bad.
Like, how bad?
What were you going to compare it to?
Sonic X. Where essentially, it's more like a fan fiction of like, what if I was a child and I met Sonic the Hedgehog and his friends? And
I obviously like that show.
I had regular stuff. But when Eggman attacked, Sonic would come to save the day, and then they go back to sleep on the roof.
You're, okay. Okay.
That's why I was like, nah, maybe it's not that bad.
You're right. It's pretty close, but not on the same level.
The Turtles don't do nothing. They actually
do something.
They're always active on screen, so that's not a good comparison.
Okay, so
I would give it a 2 out of 5. I would give it a 2.5 because it just felt like there was a lot of good points, good action, good CG, but crediting a movie just for its action and CG doesn't always work when Turtles is clearly an already established franchise, and when you go and change it up that much, it really hurts the fans. For new audiences, it wouldn't bug them as much, but to me, as a Turtles fan from back in the day, I feel like it could have been better. Not the worst, but could have been better. Shake your head.
No, I'm sorry.
She's looking at something on TV that she just
something on TV that kind of just caught my attention. That
stay focused on the podcast.
Diego.
Okay, I don't like giving scores out of 5. I'd say 6 out of 10 personally. I think it's okay. It has some good concepts.
That's 3.5.
Yeah, that's like 3 out of 10. So
yeah.
No.
Or 3.5.
3 out of 5 is more like a 7, I think.
Oh yeah, right. Fractions.
But anyway, I'd give it a 6. It had some good ideas. Some of them were well executed, others not so well. I think that I don't know how many writers it actually had, but I feel like some of their ideas got kind of mixed up and it's kind of muddled.
2. Actually,
it had 2 writers.
I ended up finding out.
I think their ideas just kind of got muddled together, and they couldn't really come up with this one coherent plot. It felt like it was okay, we'll put your scene, and then we'll put your scene, and then they kind of agreed at somewhere in the middle on a couple scenes, but it just felt like it was. It just felt like it was just it was almost directed by 2 different people at the same time, rather than it just being one person's vision of the Turtles.
I could believe that.
Kind of like what happens when Dexter and Mandark work together to build their own robot. You got a half Dexter.
Yeah, kind of like that. That's what
it's cool looking, and it was awesome, but just
it didn't.
What? Ultimately, it didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so pretty much putting all of our scores together, this movie for all of us is about a 2.5 out of 5. So there's that.
Yeah, about below half.
Below half.
On average.
Well, it'd be 2.3
or
2.4 out of 5, but
because me and him rated it below half. You guys rated it a little bit above half.
Well, he was 6 out of 10, so that was 3.
6 out of 10, 3 out of 5. That's above half.
It was about a 2 3/4 stars is what I was giving. That's about what I was giving it.
Because you divide 10 in half, you get 5. So you just divide 6 in half, you get 3.
I just put
mathematical equation, people.
I just put all of ours together and got a 2.625.
You actually have an app for that?
So 2.
I did it on calculator.
2.625.
He has a rating averager app.
Oh my god.
My phone's got a tip calculator. Standard.
All right.
I guess that does it for the TMNT review, even though it took longer. This 2-part special.
Way longer. We're almost at an hour and a half.
But you know what? I'm happy. We got more better, feedbacks.
Yeah, we got some insight from more than just the two of us. So, yeah.
So I personally want to thank David and Diego for giving us their time, and they probably could have
and their blood
and their
souls.
So Diego's gonna go back. Diego's gonna go back to playing the new Silent Hill promo game.
You don't have to go into detail.
So yeah, but
all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, everyone all at once. Don't forget to